Coming up, and meantime, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Alex Where it's approaching 2 p.m. here on the East Coast, 11 a.m. out west. And we're going to get to those developments, the latest ones on the massive oil spill there in the Gulf of Mexico. Officials are now calling this a spill of national significance. Of course, you hear the White House is very much involved, sending the cabinet secretary as well as the Secretary of Homeland Security to that oil spill location, and they're going to be monitoring things from the coast. Partly this is because a third leak was discovered, and 5 times more oil is spewing than originally was thought. Again, the 3 cabinet members heading to Louisiana, Homeland Security Secretary Janet Napolitano, as well as Interior Secretary Ken Salazar, EPA Administrator Lisa Jackson, they're all on the job right now. And now the Coast Guard says this slick could reach landfall tomorrow.
Other risks of this incident. The trajectory has the spill, the leading edge of the oil, reaching landfall in the Mississippi Delta region sometime later tomorrow.
Okay, right now I'm joined on the phone by a spokesman for British Petroleum, of course, BP, which is the owner of that oil rig, or the ones that were operating it, certainly. Neil Chapman joins me on the phone. Neil, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Hello, Alex. How are you?
Hello. I'm well, thank you. I know it's a difficult time for all of you there. Talk about British Petroleum, first of all, and your concerns about what's going on there in the Gulf of Mexico and what you plan to do about it, and how surprised you are, given the fact that you were running this rig, that this spill is now, what, 5 times greater than originally thought?
Well, the rig was working for us. It was owned by Transocean at the time of the incident, and they were you've got to remember that they lost 11 people in this incident. But now, after such a terrible tragedy, the focus comes on fighting this spill offshore, fighting it as far offshore as we can in order to get rid of the oil, that awful black stuff from the Gulf of Mexico, although most of it is a very thin sheen that you would normally see after a rainfall, and it's on the top of the surface. But this is extremely serious, or this is very serious, but what I can tell you is that we regard this as a fight, and to have the Department of Defense is something that we would very much welcome, because we look at it as a fight, aggressively trying to attack the source of the oil leak down 5,000 feet on the bottom of the sea, and also then contain that oil before, trying to contain it and get a system in place to contain it before it reaches the surface, but also attack it on the surface, burning it and using dispersants, but also defending the shores, defending it with boom, with people, specialists who know what they're doing in order to protect wildlife and make sure that the shore is as protected as it can be, and also to have that boom ready to deploy with the states helping us to make sure we get it in the right place and telling us where we need to put the equipment we have.
And Neil, the problem with burning it, that I know had been one way to attack this you'd hope to get underway. Why is that not being done right now?
It has been. Yesterday there was a test burn to around about the end of the day to set light to some oil to burn it, to make sure the procedures are right, and it followed very strict procedures to make sure it was done safely and that people were safe in the area, and also that it didn't impact wildlife in the area. Right,
but Neil, is weather a problem, though, with that? I mean, is current, winds, all that?
Okay. The weather at the moment has been good to us and kind to us for the last few days, and during those days we've been ramping up the attack for dealing with the oil and making sure that every day we've been putting out more dispersant, gathering in more oil and putting out more vessels and taking advantage of the weather and the wind. Yes, the weather is predicted to be less kind to us, and the turn in the wind may well be the factor that brings it on shore tomorrow, as you mentioned, and we're preparing for that so that we're defending the shores as much as we are able to. Okay,
and Neil, very quickly, I know you were aware that your COO, Doug Suttle, said earlier today on the Today Show that there really is no way of knowing 100% for sure how much oil is seeping out of there. I mean, you're able to look at what you're getting on the surface, but how concerned are you that we're only scratching the surface and the problem is even larger than we're aware of?
Well, you're right in the sense that it is an estimate, but it's a planning estimate, and all along, the one thing that is certain is that that when we see the oil, it's reached the surface, and that's where we've got to attack it, contain it, and get rid of it in order to protect the environment.
Okay, BP spokesman Neil Chapman, in these very tough times. Thanks for joining us. us on MSNBC.
Thank you very much, Alex. Take care.
Good luck.
Bye-bye.